Welcome back. Well, the leadership crisis rocking the Social Democratic Party may not abate soon as a third faction has emerged following the election of another national chairman by some state chairman. When I'm being joined right now by the National Publicity Secretary of the Social Democratic Party and a person of Judith Shuhaib, and we'll be talking about the various leadership crises in the party. But first, you're welcome to Correro.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
All right, let's look at the whole leadership tussle in the party, factional leadership, but then clarify us on the true state of the party's leadership as it stands right now.
Okay, well, I do not think it's a matter of factional leadership, quite frankly. On the 25th of July 2025, a National Executive Committee meeting held and where the former leadership was suspended and then new leadership mandated with fresh mandates to carry out and then govern the affairs of the party was basically instituted on the 25th of July. So by virtue of NEC, usually when you have internal party challenges, there are modalities for fixing such issues. But as you know, beyond the National Working Committee of the party, there's usually an apex and superior body, which is the National Executive Committee, and then there's also convention ultimately. So that's where decisions supersede that which goes on within the National Working Committee. And so contrary to your introduction, it really wasn't a few chairmen or some chairmen of the party who came together and made somebody a chairman. Actually, a National Executive Committee meeting happened on the 25th of July where new leadership emerged.
We've seen the likes of Adamu Madibo
Yes.
saying he's the leader of the party. We've seen also Sadiq Abubakar, also the party's chairman. And right now we've also, this allegation of leadership and the factional leadership is everywhere. But then again, bring us up to speed. Who is the acting leader of the party? And what is the position of Adamu Madibo in the party as it stands?
Comrade Adamu Modibo, Abubakar Modibo, is the person who is the chairman of the party, of the Social Democratic Party as of right now. Abubakar Sadiq was somebody, he was a former national secretary in the party some more than a decade ago. He has been away from the party. In fact, if you ask anybody who had joined the party in the last 9 years down to date, they would probably don't know who that person was because he wasn't an active member of the party over the last 10 years, like I said. I think the last time he was seen actively on the political scene, especially in relations to our party, was really maybe 2015 or earlier than that. And if you check why he left the party, it was on very terrible terms. There were reasons that he had to leave the active scene of the party. And it was, again, challenges of leadership. So, you know, usually people come up every now and then and try to gain some extra relevance and come up to political scene. That is really what brought him about. And he came in through the former National Secretary, Dr. Oluwagunloye, and a few other people in the former National Working Committee who came together and tried, which are the minority really, who came together and tried to institute Dr. Sadiq, you know, illegally. But as you also know, it's in public space that the party members have clearly said, the National Executive Committee, who make up the larger body of the party, have clearly made their decision and their choice as regards to who is the leader of the party. That is where Comrade Abubakar Adamu emerged, really, Modibo. And then alongside other National Working Committee members, we also have a new National Secretary who is Dr. Ambo Ekpeong, you know. So anybody else who is really claiming to be leader of the party is, as such, trying to be a leader of the party, but really are not the legitimate leaders of the party. And INEC has also established so many times.
Well, there is a report earlier today coming from your presidential candidate in the person of Adebayo. And he said that Shehu Gamba is still the president, still the chairman of the party. He was only suspended. But I needed to clear us on this issue. Is Shehu Gamba still the chairman of the party?
First of all, that is Shehu Gabam.
Gabam.
Okay, to begin with. And then he is not the presidential candidate of the party.
No,
he
was.
Adebayo, Adebayo was the presidential candidate as of 2023 election. That expired. Okay, so by 2027 elections, we're definitely going to have candidates. If he runs for the race and he emerges in the primaries, fine. Otherwise, if it's somebody else, fine. So he's former presidential candidate of the party. He's a floor member of the party, and that would be a very confused statement to say, because he's definitely part of members of the party who have been speaking, and then who have also shown displeasure at the leadership. And then for him to say that Alhaji Shehu Gabam is still the chairman of the party would just mean that he's being mischievous, because he is again from the same state as the former National Secretary Dr. Olu Agunloye, and so if he is making statements contrary to a former National Executive National Working Committee member from his own state and his own region, that would mean there's an element of confusion in the Southwest, essentially, or better still, not the Southwest, in Ondo State. So that means they need to go and get that act together. But I want to assure you that the National Working Committee came together and, as of June, suspended Alhaji Shehu Musa Gabam. You cannot be a national chairman in suspension. And on top of that, like I said, the National Executive Committee met, and a decision, and several decisions had been taken that also dissolved that particular National Working Committee. So there's a new National Working Committee. I was also part of the former National Working Committee, but I happen to be nominated again in the new interim National Working Committee, building up to the National Convention of the party. And there are a couple of other officials who were in the former National Working Committee who were nominated yet again to be on the current National Working Committee. So it would be a very confused statement on his part. He probably needs to check his facts. Maybe he's out of touch.
Well, Judith, let's talk about the whole coalition right now. I understand that minority political parties are all trying to form some form of a bond in order to seize power from the ruling All Progressive Congress. In this whole coalition trajectory, is the SDP part of the coalition?
SDP is not part of the coalition. Okay, SDP still stands as SDP. As you know, the coalition, well, great for them. It is good that like minds are coming together to establish something, or in a bid to, forge a better nation, forge better government that can potentially produce better governance by virtue of the dissatisfaction with the government of the day. That is fine, but SDP stands as SDP. However, there are individuals who have decided across several political parties to really share ideas and rub minds, and then come up with modalities and suggestions and ideas and all of that with the coalition. So you can find individuals, and some of those individuals, few of them may even be from SDP, but that is at best what it is. SDP is not part of coalition as of right now.
So politics is a game of anything can happen within the political space.
Yes.
So within now and 2027, should we keep our fingers crossed that SDP may likely join in the coalition?
Well, I think what you should keep your fingers crossed about is that people, even in the coalition and other places, may be in SDP. Because I tell you what, as of right now, regardless or in spite of the challenges that are going on within the SDP, SDP still stands as one of that political party that Nigerians need. SDP still stands as that political party with the template, with the branding, with the history, with the record and the trajectory and structure to produce government in Nigeria. So what I think you should keep your fingers crossed about is really that you would see political players and actors and figures and even members of the coalition and potentially political parties maybe fusing into SDP. That you should keep your fingers crossed about for sure.
Well, I know other political parties would not want to agree with you on that submission, but then who am I to speak for other political parties? But then let's talk about this issue around El Rufai and its expulsion from the party. Let's get you react to the Kaduna State chapter of the SDP expelling El Rufai from the party. Is he actually a member of the SDP?
Malam Nasiru El-Rufai is very much a member of the SDP. Okay, as I told you, there are minds within Nigeria, in spite of political parties, who share ideas with the coalition. Malam Nasiru El-Rufai happens to be one of such people. And you can't deny the fact that he's a leader, a prominent one at that in Nigerian political space. So it is up to him how he wants to contribute to forging the future of Nigeria. And for him, lending his voice, his ideas, and all of that to the coalition is one of the ways with which he does that. But he remains a member of the SDP. And I want to assure you also that the Kaduna State chapter did not, as a matter of fact, expel Malam Nasiru El-Rufai. If you check the templates of who is doing the expulsion, you would realize that it is the same group of actors that we discussed earlier, Dr. Olu Agunloye and co, and a few members of the former National Working Committee who are trying to be very mischievous and really water down the essence of the party and mortgage the party. In the bid to do that, they feel they need to attack certain people who are prominent within Nigerian political space so that they can excuse them to be able to forge ahead with very mischievous conduct. That really is what that was. And currently, the Kaduna State chapter is being headed by Alhaji Mekano Nasiru. That's the person who is the chairman of the party as of 2025. A couple of months now, he has been the person who is heading the Kaduna State chapter. So any other person who is coming up will really be somebody who is funded or somebody who is propelled or sponsored by some of these actors who are trying to, by all means, mortgage the party. But some of us have stood in the gap to say, no, not under our watch, really, and especially not under the leadership of Comrade Abubakar Modibo Adamu, not under that leadership, for sure.
Well, a lot of leadership tussle from Ondo State through to Kaduna State and back to the national body. But we'll look at all of this. Could this be the reason why SDP did not come out stronger in the last, based on the result we have with us at the last by-election on Saturday? Could this be one of the reasons why SDP suffered a major blow in the election?
Oh, absolutely. You will not be right to make that submission. So there is the part of the fact that, yes, leadership tussle, exactly why the National Executive Committee of the party had to come together. The larger majority of that committee came together and made the decision as of the 25th of July, because the power tussle of people who cannot put their personal interests in the back door in the greater good and interest of Nigerians and party faithfuls, this is the reason why the SDP had suffered. But INEC is also to blame on one part, because INEC sincerely is not exactly not playing favorites at this point. INEC has had a way of really interfering and somewhat meddling. But again, you can't blame the external force if the doors weren't opened internally. So you wouldn't be completely wrong to say that that wasn't it. But you might also see that the situation was arrested. It's just that, yes, it was arrested in the nick of time. It's like a fishbone in the neck, because, but you would see that as a result of the new leadership that emerged as of the 25th of July, led by Comrade Modibo and Ambo, you would see that that is why we had to resort to all forms of measures possible to make sure that INEC gives us the cooperation so that SDP is not isolated or sidelined. We gave that the fair fight. As a matter of fact, this had to be in court for INEC to be compelled. And thankfully, the judicial system of Nigeria is beginning to show traces of, doing the right thing for once. That judgment was gotten, and we were able to at least appear. But that really definitely dealt SDP a big blow, but not for long, because the fact that we stood up and still somehow managed to even feature in the election is already a step in the right direction. And of course, there's sunlight at the end of the tunnel for sure.
All right, you've said that SDP is not joining the coalition for no reason. Rather, other parties will likely come back to SDP because you have the structures and the modalities, the records to lead the country in all form. But then let's look at this by-election. Should we judge this election? Should we expect, or will this election be an eye-opener for us to see what is to come in 2027 if SDP choose to isolate itself from the all minority political parties are trying to come together to grab power from the ruling All Progressive Congress?
First of all, you know that it's not political parties that came together, right?
Yeah.
It's a group of individuals and actors that came together to form the
As it
coalition.
stands right now,
But
they
they
came from different
chose,
political parties.
okay, yes,
Yeah.
but they chose a political party to fuse into, right? So let's clear that first of all. So SDP is not in isolation because all political parties are still standing as of today.
As it stands right now, you know correctly that what this represents. When Peter Obi is coming from Labour Party, Atiku Abubakar is coming from the People's Democratic Party, El Rufai is coming from the Social Democratic Party, and Rotimi Amechi is coming from the All Progressive Congress, and these will automatically create a crack in the system, or you don't think so?
A crack in what system?
In the
government?
system of electoral of the various political parties that they are coming from, and the
I do
likelihood
not
that they will not be able to move their own their own crowd, their supporters to even the coalition, it's infinitesimally low.
No, well, see, there are multiple players and actors and key components in this. A couple of actors have come together to try to see how strength can match strength and idea can match idea to push Nigeria forward. That is only but one way in trying to forge democracy forward. There is no way that that rules out the relevance or existence or standing of political parties standing on their own, SDP included. Just the way, okay, look at it now. The political players came together and entered the ADC. Are there no issues within the ACC? We have seen all manner and all kinds of challenges and issues spring up in the ADC that Nigerians didn't even know existed as a result of the fact that, okay, there are a number of people within the party. So they are not without their challenges. So that means that the challenge in the SDP or any other party is really not peculiar. It is the time and the season, and it probably is time to also put a stethoscope on who are the players who are perpetuating some of these challenges that we're experiencing as of right now within the Nigerian opposition parties. Because it's a general problem. If you check it, it's like a plague. It started from multiple parties, and now it has cascaded all the way down to the SDP. We have to begin to interrogate what exactly is causing this. Should we put our tentacles on the All Progressive Congress and see, are they trying to usurp power and make sure that there is only but one party in Nigeria, which will not be fair to democracy. Other parties have to exist in their own right. But I want to assure you that it does not mean that the existence of the coalition rules out the relevance of other political parties, especially the SDP. There may be temporary challenges. We just happen to be maybe the last one on the block or the later ones on the block to experience these challenges. Other parties before us have, like the case of Labour Party. And as you know, till today, Peter Obi has not exactly left Labour Party. He's in the same lights, just like El Rufai, lending ideas, rubbing minds as of right now. That may change in the future or not, but this is the status quo, and I believe that opposition parties still have a shot. The coalition is one thing, but parties are stabilizing. The SDP is building. The SDP is still gathering its momentum, is gathering its acts together, and we're already on the right track. Major decisions and major players are coming. Have you checked the new set of ESCO? Younger people. These are people who are promising. These are people who understand the minds of Nigerians. These are people who are speaking the language that Nigerians understand. So what we have coming from the SDP, Nigeria has not experienced it or seen it before, but it is coming. And when it comes, it will come to stay. And I assure you, it would radically influence the trajectory of what Nigerian politics will look like between now and 2027.
Well, SDP has been at peace long before El Rufai joined the party. And there have been speculations that El Rufai is like Bola Tinubu's stooge in order to come into the party, infiltrate into the party, and destabilize the party. Of course, it's a speculation. But then when you look at El Rufai coming into the party, and right now the party is undergoing a lot of internal rift so far. How correct is this allegation and this whole speculation that El Rufai is being planted as a mole in the party to destabilize the Social Democratic Party?
Oh, absolutely not. It is nothing but a rumor, it's nothing but speculation, like you rightly put it. The SDP, yes, has been at peace for a very long time. But you know, sometimes too, when there is peace, you have to interrogate two things. Is it peace or is it a resemblance of peace? Because, you know, sometimes when you have internal party challenges, especially at the apex of leadership, it takes a while to come forth. And that's what you have seen with the SDP. The challenges have been there, but the SDP has managed it as much as possible until it got to a place where it had to escalate. I do think that the coming of El Rufai probably just put a spotlight on what was already existing, right? But it would be unfair even to the man to say that he is planted as his stooge. Speculations have been there since the last election cycle, saying that the APC or the government of the day or President Bola Ahmed Tinubu or whoever else has moles or planted people within the SDP. There was even a time that people speculated that the SDP was a fallback plan for the then presidential candidate, now president. You know, so these types of rumors have been existing for quite a long time, when even Malam Nasir El-Rufai was not even in the party in the first place, you know. So those narratives are to be expected. They may not go away anytime soon, but that does not substantiate their authenticity. It is highly untrue.
All right, just before I let you go, let's look at the audit report that was submitted by the committee that was set up to look into the financial misappropriation allegation on Gabam and all of that that has played out. Are we going to see, is that just another media trial? We're going to see actual prosecution, if at all there are misappropriations of funds?
Okay. Misappropriation of fund by any committee. First of all, the National Executive Committee meeting of that day had ruled out that investigation. Reason being that all the members of the National Working Committee needed to have been tried, because how did you sit under the leadership of a man and then expect that it is only 1, 2, or 3 people out of 12 people who are sitting on that committee who wound up misappropriating funds? What were the other people doing? What was going on? And of course, as you know, every political party has a modality that there are signatories. Okay, so the relevant signatories to that account who have been claiming to not know what was going on with financial expenditures and management and appropriations and all of that, those people need to be interrogated, which is what the National Executive Council said. See, this has to be interrogated. And so therefore, it would be unfair to say that it is just one man who should answer for that. So we are expecting, what the public should expect is that a new committee would be set up that would now interrogate everybody, including myself, who was formerly on that same National Working Committee and now in the new National Working Committee, because everybody has to come and answer for why that is. And there is no way Dr. Olu Agunloye, who is the former National Secretary, would exempt himself. He was once the chairman of the party too. So all members and players must come and account for what happened to the funds of the SDP. It belongs to the party. It belongs to the public invariably, as far as the SDP community and party is concerned. So everybody needs to come and explain who sat down on that National Working Committee. And then the party would use internal measures appropriately to also checkmate those excesses. So that is what the public should expect. But that report, very narrow, very targeted, very after one person, when there are multiple people who should answer for the crime. Now there's a spotlight on it, and everybody who is part of perpetrating that crime would answer for the crime.
Well, I know I said that would be my parting gift before I let you go, but Judith, I am curious again. Who is occupying the seat of the SDP right now, even at your party secretariat here in Abuja?
The party secretariat is but near an island right now. And the reason is because the same people who have chosen to plan this mischief have decided that they want to use ethnicity and other avenues of the times affecting political circle to lure the Nigerian police force to act in private capacity. We have seen several challenges over the last couple of weeks. We've seen several forms of infringement of fundamental human rights of party members and everything else. As of right now, state chairman of the party cannot go into the party because of selected few people who have decided to weaponize the Nigerian police force using illegal avenues. And so that is the reason why the National Secretariat of the Social Democratic Party right now is deemed unsafe for habitation. So it hasn't been in full operation. The new National Working Committee have written to the Commissioner of Police, FCT, and has stated the state of affairs, and have also employed that if this constituted National Working Committee by our Constitution will not operate from the National Secretariat, if it is deemed unsafe, then that very location has to be sealed pending when all matters are resolved at the moment. But what we have seen in recent times is that we are doubting that the Nigerian police force is also upholding that side of the bargain, which was a decision that was made by them upon their attention being drawn to the legitimacy of leadership, and they are cooperating with people and elements who are not leaders of the party.
Well, Judith Schweib, National Publicity Secretary of the Social Democratic Party, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, viewers, this is how far we can go today on Cobrero. Do remember that you can join the conversation on our various social media handle currently showing on your screen. And also, you can also leave your comments out for us to also get a feedback of what you think about the various conversations that we've had here on this table. My name is Godwin Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye for now.